Not a matter of if, but when crisis will rock your world. I'm Roshini Rajkumar, crisis strategist, licensed attorney, and host of The Crisis Files. In each case file, we cover hot topics with top leaders. What would it look like to live in flow and foresee every pivot needed? The ultimate crisis prevention, right? Rachel Wallis Andreasson is a former convenience industry CEO turned author and speaker, proclaiming the benefits of a process that could help any business, any forward-thinking leader. Rachel is here for the case file I call Sixth Level Leadership. Rachel, what's the biggest gap that you see when leaders are trying to get to the next level?
It's a great question, Roshini, and thank you for having me on. I think the majority of the times, many times, individuals get promoted to leadership positions. And why do they get promoted? Probably because they're the employee that's very dependable, a great individual contributor, gets along well with others, and has this motivation to succeed. And so then they get promoted, and now they're a leader, and they're leading other individuals. And they expect everyone to behave like they do, and they are shocked when everyone does not. And I think the biggest gap is that people, when they get promoted, don't have the right toolkit in order to create a culture where everyone is allowed to thrive.
And is that part of what inspired you and your co-authors to come up with the sixth level process?
Yes. I'm going to date myself, but I was working for my family business for 24 years and mainly over organizational development and human resources, and as well as operations. And in 2005, on our leadership retreat, we read the book by Jim Collins, Good to Great. And I loved his book. I loved the concepts of the right people on the bus, the hedgehog, but the concept that really intrigued me the most was the flywheel. But Collins didn't tell us how to get the flywheel started. So it truly became my life's passion to figure out the roadmap for how to create a culture where everyone can thrive. And so that has been the culmination of the co-authors' life work, as well as the contributors that we have that participated in the book. And so now the sixth level gives the leaders a roadmap for how to create this culture.
All right. And we, of course, want people to get the book themselves. You can find that at Amazon.com. You can connect with Rachel on their website. But can you kind of give us a synopsis of this process that whets our appetite and also kind of gets us start to thinking about our own world and how we might apply this?
Yes. Well, I know we were all devastated over the weekend when we, heard about the shootings in Sydney, Australia. And I think that, we do have a connection crisis in this world. And I liked listening to one of your more recent podcasts, The Age of Influence, and the social media and the as much of productivity and efficiencies that technology has brought us. It has also created this deep loneliness in a lot of individuals and the inability to connect and establish two-way empathy. So the sixth level is based on 4 core principles. It's mutuality, which is a feeling of connection and alignment and a shared sense of purpose. It's justness. And justness is the ability to be transparent, have accountability, but also in the end builds trust. It's ingenuity, where people come together and solve complex problems with creative solutions that benefit and lift the boat for everyone. And then there's intrinsic motivation, when you are just compelled to help others and be in alignment and have this deep sense of passion to want to push everyone forward. So it's almost like, being on a row team and the feeling and momentum of everyone rowing in the same direction versus not having that roadmap or not having that training and everybody's got their oars in and it's not it's not in synchrony and you're going around in a circle. So we want everyone to have this roadmap of the 6th level. So the energy that they put forth, which is a lot of energy, because establishing, cultures where no one wants to leave takes a lot of work. But we'd rather have people be doing work that creates regenerative, good cultures where everyone can feel included and move the culture forward, versus being in a firefighting crisis situation every day and trying to put out these fires, because it takes the same amount of energy. It's just we want people to follow a roadmap where it leads to positive and groundbreaking outcomes relative to performance metrics.
Right. And you also want them to be sustainable. What I like, so many things I like about your framework, but one of the things that you said is, how do you create these cultures and workplaces where people do not want to leave? They want to stay.
Yes.
Because it is expensive when you lose talent, especially when it's not the choice of leadership or of the company. You have a valuable player and they either go to where the grass is greener, they think, or they're burnt out by, your particular workplace. So what's kind of one of those essence? I mean, the justness principle, I think, is so important when people really feel heard and seen and it's transparent in their workplace. My sense is that could be really game changing.
Yes. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I feel that out of the 4 core differentiators, when individuals feel that justness is not in place, that is when people really think about pivoting, when that is a missing core element. Because when you think about it, no one can really operate to their best potential when there is not trust in the environment. And justness is a large umbrella principle that when you put multiple tactics in place, just what we talked about, the accountability, the transparency, where all voices are heard and people understand, how decisions are made and communicated back, where the communication loop is closed. When people feel that sense of trust, they're able to give their best selves. And so, yes, being able to operate under these 4 core principles. We have 16 stories in the book, but I'll just take one example of Lisa, who came into becoming president of a hospital right on the heels of COVID. And the morale of the staff was depleted. Obviously, they had seen horrific things with people in their community dying. But Lisa put these 4 core differentiators in place. So for mutuality, she created a rally cry that she felt everybody could get behind, which was one heart, one team. And that has become more than a poster on a wall. It is how the team bonds together.
They really live it.
They live it, yes, because this culture is fluid. You're constantly improving on it and living it and breathing it and making changes. And a culture is formed by people's actions and behaviors. So when there is a person that doesn't behave within these 4 core principles, that's when you have a direct conversation and you redirect people and you remind them of the shared vision and the shared purpose and get them back on track. Because like I said, back to the rowboat, when everybody is rowing in the same direction, the momentum starts to flow, the flywheel starts to spin. And that's when everyone can really feel the tangible difference within a culture and can bring their best selves forward and have creative solutions for the organization to move forward, get the results, and like you said, and be sustainable for the future and be able to deal with the crises that come into play. Because no matter what business you are in, you always are going to deal with a crisis at some point in your history.
That's what we say, not a matter of if, but when. It will happen. So you're going to be able to actually flow through it. And flow is such an amazing state to be in. But flow doesn't always mean things are perfect, hunky-dory, we're living in profits all the time. Flow can also mean we have these great processes in place. So when a potential crisis could grow beyond what we're understanding right now, we have the right people in the right seats doing it together on mission. And in that kind of, in the Lisa example, they're all doing it as one team. And that's a beautiful place to be.
Yeah, and just to go back to Lisa for a second, I mean, it did take a while, and I'm going to say probably 18 months to close to 2 years to have a lot of listening sessions to make small shifts to put these four principles in place. But now that they've had the highest engagement scores from their own staff, the highest participation, they've had the highest patient satisfaction scores, and the hospitals history, like since inception, since the hospital was built in the
That's
60s.
amazing.
Yes, the results are amazing. And I guess that's what I don't want to gloss over is that this is a formula for success for an organization. And it does take work, but when you think about, nobody would go on a trip and not know where they're going or not put it, your directions in GPS. So it seems kind of ironic that we would ask leaders to take care of a team or an organization and not give them a roadmap for how they can be successful with their team. And especially now in the age of AI and taking so many manual processes out of organizations, being able to redirect the humans for the work that only humans can do, which is the connection to the customers, the connection to each other, the true understanding of dealing with the dynamics in the marketplace and the competition in order to propel the organization forward. So it's critical that individuals and teams and organizations have a roadmap and have the directions for how to form a culture that no one wants to leave.
Absolutely. And I love when you talk about the marketplace, you are no stranger to not only the marketplace in your former industry as a CEO, but all of the possible crises that could have happened. Maybe you can give us a little anecdote from that part of your life in the fuel industry where there are convenience stores, there's truck, there's bad weather, there's all these different layers around crimes if one of your stores gets robbed. I mean, so many things. It could be a crisis every day, Rachel.
Yes, yeah, the potential is there.
Oh,
And
walking down memory lane, right?
yeah, all those things you said are definitely true. And also, I don't know if you've ever heard of the book The Black Swan, but we had three major crises in a year of a span of a decade where my dad, who was the founder of our organization and really put this strong foundational culture in place for the first 30 years, he died of cancer. And then within that same 10 years, our plan B of the next person to become our CEO, he also died of cancer at age 43. And then also the brand that we had invested in, hundreds of millions of dollars in our convenience store brand was sold to our biggest competitor.
Oh my
So the
gosh.
black swan is like when you have these unexpected events happen in your life and you did not see them coming and you could not plan for them. But when you do have a strong foundation, when you have open book processes at your company, when you have a sense of trust and you have each other's backs, that's when you're able to have more resilience. And resilience and the trust and the connection and the alignment, those are so critical for being able to pivot, being able to move out of a crisis situation and get yourself back on track as an organization. And
So, I mean, you took
yeah,
over
and
a lot when you became CEO, and then just the tragedy
yes.
of losing your father and then losing this other colleague who at age 43, I mean, that's terrible. And then you have
Yes.
to sort of pick up not only yourself, but everybody's morale to keep marching forward so the company doesn't fall apart.
Yeah, and that's so critical for all leaders to be able to, in the midst of a crisis or in something that you did not expect, being able to gather the ideas about what's possible, what's next, how can we make this, this situation the best it can be for our employees, our customers, and for the future of the organization. And so that's why, I sometimes think about the four core differentiators. The sixth level is like pillars of a house. And so no matter what storms come, or even if there's a tornado, that these pillars are strong foundational pieces in place so you can weather any storm.
Yeah.
And that's the way I like to think of it.
It's so important. And I love that you say the foundation, because any building needs a foundation. Any driving vehicle or truck or bike, you need a frame, which is the foundation that everything is attached to. So it all really works. And so for organizations to not have a shared framework, you're really asking for crisis to happen.
Yeah. And I think, in a world where we feel a lot of disconnection, and in a world where, you don't always know how to connect with others. And there's a lot of polarization, because of technology, and because sometimes we just associate in our own bubble with people that think like us or act like us. But I think sometimes it's hard to see that, conflict and dysfunction are not preordained. It's not the way it really should be. But absent of, frameworks and training and having unclear values, that all escalates situations where people have a hard time connecting with each other and putting themselves in other people's shoes and increasing your own tolerance of others. So having a framework in place where you are connecting with others and increasing this relational system within your organizations as much as you are the efficient systems is critically important for the future. And I think it's only becoming more so, because as technology takes over a lot of what we do, humans have to bond together to find the moral compass and the human connection in everything that we do. And so it's really, there's a huge burden on all of us to not lose that human connection, and to train and to emulate what it looks like to have two-way empathy, what it looks like to put mutuality in place, justness in place, ingenuity, and lead with intrinsic motivation. Just a genuine care to move everyone forward within an organization or a team.
Right. And then to celebrate when those things are happening and you see the results of that, you see the results of that great flow. It is also good to take time to do that recognition and affirmation when it goes well.
Yes, 100%. And I feel like we do this in the sports world all the time. I mean, in the sports games, there's rules. Everybody knows the score. Nobody would probably go to any sport game if they didn't see the score and celebrate the wins. I mean, that's the part that's fun, and I just want everyone to know, every leader out there to know, it's possible to be on a winning team. It's possible to create a winning team. And if you don't have that winning team right now, that there is a roadmap to get you there. And once you put these things in place, then it does create the flywheel spinning and keeps the momentum moving forward.
And to get more of that, you can get the 6th level for yourself and on Amazon, or connect directly with Rachel at the6thlevel.com. This case file is powered by Northwing Digital. Northwing Digital is driven by a simple mission: help businesses succeed. Guided by core values, trust through transparency, and GSD, get stuff done. Northwing specializes in SEO and paid digital ads that deliver measurable results. From Google search to paid social, strategies that help your business stand out and grow. Make your marketing dollars work harder. Visit northwingdigital.com to get started. Northwing Digital, your partner in growth. Rate, review, and subscribe to The Crisis Files on your platform of choice. Follow us on YouTube and Instagram at The Crisis Files. Visit thecrisisfiles.com for all 4 seasons of the show. I'm Roshini Rajkumar. Join me next time on The Crisis Files.